Good evening. Ira Epstein with your SPDR ETF wrap-up, and this wrap-up is for Monday, the 14th of March, 2022, and I am back in town, and it's good to be back. Had a wonderful stay in Arizona. What a beautiful place. I went to college there, so I love to go back and see it. It's just grown so much. Had a great time. Saw a lot of cars. I'm a car freak. I went to the Penske museums. I saw the race cars. I don't know if you've ever gone out there to see his auto dealership in Phoenix. Get ready to take something for your jaw and put it under like that. Rollses, Bentleys, Ferraris, McLarens, Lamborghinis, Porsches. I can go on and on. It doesn't end. And it's some of the wildest models you've ever seen. New cars, used cars. We are talking, I was trying to figure out in the lot what it cost him to carry all these cars every day. Because remember, there's what we call a day fee. You got to pay a rate. It's the carry rate. Oh my God, it's huge. But I also got to see, and I like to mix business with my fun. I got to see the brand new other cars that are coming out, some of the new electric cars that are coming out, and that was fabulous to see. They are pretty darn neat. I mean, it's going to give Tesla a run for its money, but enough of that. When I was gone, I didn't write my newsletter, but I did do my morning's videos. Now, they weren't necessarily early morning because I wasn't waking up out there at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning to put out a video. I was on vacation. Let me enjoy myself. But I did get them done, and that's the important thing. And I did read, but I didn't have to work 8-hour, 10-hour days. And that was the beauty of it. I made sure that my paid subscribers got information. The thing that kept dawning on me, I'm looking at the markets, I'm going, I've seen this before. We've had an event, the market's already discounted it. Past tense, not discounting current. It's discounted this cycle of the Ukraine war. Where it goes to next, I don't know. What stops it, I don't know. But I became more and more convinced that the world has it wrong. Putin's a bully. And the only way you stop a bully is to show up for the fight. You don't have to agree with me, but how many of you out there, guys, were you in school and there was always a bully, and if you were the one to get picked on, he'd keep bullying you until you showed up and you fought. And then if he had to do it again, you fought again. By the second or third time, there were no more fights. And I'm still here to live about it, and I'm not the world's greatest fighter. If you show they don't want to fight, it's not worth the effort. And what Putin's done is he's learned that he can take the threat of his fingers on the nuclear weapon, and I can push as far as I want, and you're not going to stop me. It has nothing to do that Ukraine was once part of Russia. It has nothing at all to do that. It's, in my opinion, I walked away with this thinking about it there, that we, the West, are not standing up to him because we are fearful of getting into the annihilation of the nuclear time. Well, Iran's going to have one of these very soon. Are we going to have to go through this again? Or do we show that, you know something? You want to push the button? Let's push buttons. I know you don't want to hear that. I believe it's the only way you stop this. And I'm not saying the buttons ever get pushed. Somebody's got to stand up and say, enough is enough. We're not at that point. Europe's not at that point apparently either. I don't know what's right and wrong, but I have come to that particular conclusion. I also came to the conclusion our president has no energy policy he understands or even has a grasp of. The man and his advisors are out of it. You want to still do a deal with Iran when they just bombed in Iraq and aimed for the U.S. embassy? Are you nuts? Let's go to Venezuela. Who just gave them all the money for the oil that you want to take in? Russia. You're still buying Biden. Biden, not President, Biden. You're still buying Russian oil. If you're going to stop, stop. This whole thing's nuts. The man doesn't know what he's doing. And at some point, I pray to God we can live through him because I am embarrassed. I hate to say it, Jimmy Carter, great humanitarian, but not the best president of the day. I'm sure Joe is a wonderful guy. He's not the best president of the day. Tell me the good things. The Biden Library, what are we going to put in it? Okay, let's keep going because it's not about politics. But I came to those conclusions. And they help you understand the market, what's going on. If we take a look at Lockheed Martin, do you want to buy over a Bollinger Band? You can. What is Ira going to tell you on weekly chart, daily chart? No, you're not. Wait for the market to come back. And by the way, we'll finish up Lockheed Martin for a day or two. Send me any other stock you'd like me to cover, and I'll put that one up. We need a new one. But since I wasn't here all week and I didn't finish this the right way, I'd like to get it done. What else going on in Lockheed? You got a 79.34 reading. You had an embedded reading. All the numbers were very comfortably over 80. Tomorrow, if you don't get a pop to the upside right away, you're going to get under that 79. And if the market gets there, you could get all the way back here another $60, $70. Am I saying it has to happen? No. What did the market also do on a weekly basis? You had a crossover, and you went and you haven't made a new high. That's interesting too. Generally, you do that. When we come to the daily bar chart, this is distribution. The market's lost this pizzazz, and that's what I'm trying to explain. Markets have a tendency. You know what makes this market, your spiders and ETFs, much easier for me than even futures sometimes? The fact that I was honed for 53 years in futures, and I understand them. And these don't have the leverage of futures, but they have the chart patterns. Therefore, it doesn't get away from you as fast. And I'm looking at this going, guys, you got to be careful here. This market's going into a distribution. The up move is at best stalled out. Is the trend up? It absolutely is. What will break it? You take out the lows of Friday, and that low was 438.61. You end up with a pattern of lower highs, then lower lows. Where's the 18-day average of closes? That's probably what you're going to go back to if that occurs. That's what I think, at least. Where's the resistance if that's the support? The upper Bollinger Band. You had a gorilla glue trade. You've heard me use that term over and over. It's when you latch onto the Bollinger Band and don't let go. But when you finally roll right, the market often won't drop this deep. It'll drop a little bit, and then if it's going to go, it goes right away. If it starts getting through other key numbers, you got to be careful. A key number to me now is 438.61 to lock into my head, at least, that the idea that we're going to head back to the 18-day average. And I say that because momentum. What did it do? So here is Lockheed, right here. Both numbers are over 80 for the first time. Both numbers over 80 for the second time in a row. Oh my gosh, 3 times in a row. It's called embedded. It's converted itself from being overbought to locking in a bull trend until the red line closes under 79. If and when that red line closes under 79, the odds strongly favor that the market is going to make an attempt to run back to the closest main moving average, which is often the 18-day average of closes. And that's exactly what I think this market's trying to set itself up to do. Could I be wrong? I'm Mr. Swiss Cheese. Do I think I am? No, if you get under this 438.61. Apple. While I was gone, Apple, we had talked on this challenge up here before I left. Watch out, probably going to fail against the 18-day average. It did. It tried to hold the 100, which was impressive. Now, this was Friday. Remember, this is when I left. So this was the last day I was able to talk to you about. This was right through there. Now the Bollinger Band's in play. You get to the Bollinger Band, you get a bounce. Resistance would be the combination of the 100 and the 18-day average. And if you drop again, next support the lower band, and the possibility that the market wants to again do what it did here and see, is that 200-day average worth pursuing? That's where you're at right now. You finally got under this reaction low from the initial onslaught in the Ukrainian war. That doesn't mean, by the way, for traders that went in and they bought their first units there, so what? Doesn't change the picture. You didn't buy it to make a trade out of it if you're an investor. Remember what we talked about. There's 2 hats you have to wear. You have to be Jekyll. I am an investor. I'm not interested if it goes up to 170 here. I think it's going to $200 over time. I'm going to hold it. I'm a trader. I'm the hide guy. And what do I want? Well, if I bought that market at 150, at 160, it might be a good place to come out. You got the difference? It's important to keep that in the back of your mind. Don't mix the two. They won't get along. In XLF, here, oversold in a downtrend, a lot of resistance up at the 18-day average to the 200. I don't think it has the ability to do much more than this a bear market rally. I call it bear because you've been under the 18-day average of closes, so the bias is down. Disney, I am still in the bear camp in Disney. Why? I keep looking at fuel prices. I keep looking at everything prices. How is a family of four going to afford Disney this year? I'm trying to figure that one out. Go online, look at the price of your ticket, your all-day admission, look at the price of a hotel room, and add your air flight. What do you think it's going to cost? You haven't thrown in food yet for the kids. What do you think that's going to run you? So I think Disney's feeling the early pressure. That's what I personally think of this inflation wave. When we look at the industrial sector, battleground here. So I would like that if you get over 99.91 to say more bullishness and maybe you head up here. If you get under 97.53, you lose the ability to get bearish, but you have no reason to be bullish anymore. That's pretty much how I'm reading the chart. In the semiconductors, here's what you looked like. You've been bearish, lower highs, but you suddenly had a higher low, and you put that in last Thursday. Now, if you take out that low, what's the next number? It's most likely right there. And that's pretty much what this market did on you. Now we get to XHB. These are the home builders. Have you looked at what mortgage rates have done? They've gone up about 30-year, about a point and a quarter or so. That shuts out a lot of people. It's hard to get real bullish this. That does not mean we won't get a spring surge in sales because you're still under a 4% mortgage. It's still attractive. And people that want to buy a home, there's just not a lot of supply of them. And the new ones coming out are going to be more expensive. Why did I say that? Oh, I forgot about lumber. I forgot about labor costs. I forgot about land costs. Everything else getting up with inflation. Might be better to buy an existing home. So you're still seeing this market under the pressure there with the home builders. XLE, momentum is pushing down, but I'm looking for major support here in the energy, around 72. 137 in crude was too high. You're back to 106. 106 is more reasonable in this environment. It's still a war. We don't know what Russia's going to do. Russia today said that as of tonight, they might stop exporting wheat and corn abroad. They could have just as easily said, because they're getting more sanctions put on them by the European Union now, they could just as easily say, we're not going to send you any more natural gas right now or oil. That can happen like that. It's called retaliation. Remember what I started this off. They're a bully. He's a bully. There is no they. He's a bully. You got to stand up to him and slap him around at some point. You got to hit back. That's the hardest thing to do. When I was young, and you get called out for that fight, grammar school, whatever it is, do you think you wanted to go? I'm not the roughest guy, but you'd go. And it didn't matter if I'd win or lose. Showing up gave the bully more problems than he wanted. And then he'd go, are you going to do this again? I'd go, probably. I'd show again. That ended it. And I swear to you to this day, a lot of those guys, the ones that are still out, were still good friends. It just ends up that way in life. It's very strange. All right, so gold, correction mode. You had your embedded readings, you had all the goodies, you lost it. Often you go back to the 18-day average or closes, or you try to make a run for it. That's what I think is going on. It doesn't mean gold isn't good. I think gold is very good. But I think it got ahead of itself, and it's got to regroup a little bit right here. And if gold is coming down, what do you think GDX is going to do? It's probably going with it. That doesn't mean they're suddenly bearish markets. They got too high. They're giving back a chunk of it from that chart perspective that I'm seeing. Copper, I'm the happiest guy you had. My trade of the year was copper and XME. Copper got up. Hit the bands up through here. I was looking for $5 in the futures. They got there, and you're all the way down. Love it. You're down in copper about 11% from that number already. TLT. Okay, so now we have the Fed meeting. It begins tomorrow. It ends on Wednesday. You know the Fed is going to go a quarter-point hike at least. Maybe they'll surprise with a half-point. They're not going to go zero. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know that they won't go on zero. Now, that would be the surprise to the market. The Fed saying, we know all this, but it's a war. We don't know what you've got there and how much is transitory. Anything can happen. What do I teach my futures traders to do in that? Why would you go into it? If you knew what the Fed was going to say, that doesn't mean you know how the market's going to react to it. I stay away from major reports. Why is this major? Because it could be the first rate increase in how many years? I think 2018 or so. Be careful. That's my point. And you're already down to a Bollinger Band. Dollar index, still bullish. How could you not be? Is it overbought? Yeah. Could it embed? That to me is the interesting thing. So you weren't embedded on Thursday, but lo and behold, Friday both numbers were over 80. Oh my gosh. Today both numbers are over 80. So on the close tomorrow, it could embed. And if it does, that changes my whole approach, how I start attacking that. You're not able to do that in the euro, but is there anything bullish on that chart? Lower highs, lower lows. You've already hit some downside targets. In fact, you started hitting them here and you just fell. I'll wait and see what the Fed's going to do and the reaction and all that. But that's how I help you in the morning. At 9 in the morning, approximately, I begin recording an 18-minute video. I wait till 9 because I want to see all the government reports. They're typically done by 9 a.m. Central Time. I cover these markets and more. A lot of stocks are in there now and so on, but there's 40 markets that I'll work on. I'm going to be very specific. Buy here, sell there, do this, do that. I'm not trying to manage your money. I'm trying to be the guide to you that if you're looking at these charts and you're going, what is he seeing? Now I got it. That's what Ira is saying. That's where we're going to be at. I throw in bonus videos from time to time. I think I'm a seasoned pro. I got 53 years. One of the few guys you'll see on TV that has owned a stock firm, owned commodity firms. So I've done it. I've had all kinds of registrations, honed my teeth on it, so to speak. So how do you find out about all this? It's so simple. Just go to our website, go to the word research. It's all laid out for you there. I'm Ira Epstein. I need to go to sleep. I had all of 2 hours. I got in about 2 in the morning. I started working at about 4 on my morning videos. I need to go to bed. I will talk to you all tomorrow, and I'll be very refreshed. Take care.